what MCP is. And I'm going to start with a quote. That this quote comes from Anthropic. During their introduction of MCP, they said that models are only as good as the context provided to them. So obviously, this should give you an idea of what the whole idea behind MCP is going to be. How can we improve the context that we give to our models? How can we improve the capabilities of these models without having to retrain these models? Okay, so MCP here is going to standardize how any AI application or an agent interacts with external tools and data sources. Okay, so imagine you have now two separate components. You have an AI application, so think of Cursor or Cloud Desktop or Windsurf or any other AI application. And we want to create a standard way to connect to any other external tool or database or file system. We want that connection to be something that's simple, that everyone can just put together. That is what MCP is going to solve for us. Analogy that I've read online is that MCP is like the USB port, right? And for those of you who are old enough, certainly I remember where every time you go to the store and buy a device, you had to, find the cables for that device. Every single device came with a different set of cables. USB solved that problem, because now you have that universal interface where you can connect, you can plug in that external tool to your AI application or to your agent. Okay, so here is sort of like a comparison here. Before MCP, you have it here on your left, and after MCP. Okay, so before MCP, we have what we call like fragmented development, where if you have three applications, and you wanted to connect each one of those applications to three different tools, let's say GitHub, Stripe, and Slack, you had to build specific code, custom integrations for each application to connect to each one of those tools. If you count the number of integrations, you needed 9 integrations here, right? So it would be times n, right? You had to build those integrations. That's custom code, custom security, custom tests, all that comes with that. After MCP, now we have this, I'm going to call it layer, and that will be MCP. And now the only thing that you have to do is build the servers. So each one of those providers, the external tools, GitHub, Stripe, Slack, you will have servers for each one of those. And you only have to connect your applications to those servers. So instead of n times n, now we have an n plus n connections, okay? Because once your application is compatible with MCP, you can connect to any server with 0 additional work. So this is sort of like the big thing coming from MCP here.
What has CustomGPT done? What we've done is, our core mantra is about simplicity and being able to very easily be able to have an agent with your information and now expose it to all of these MCP ecosystems. So you can start with your data. Within minutes, you can create your custom GPT agent, and a single click deployment, you can have a URL that you can plug into your MCP client agents or into tools like Cloud Desktop. So what is the real world impact of this? This now means that your knowledge can be connected to various sorts of apps and agents. That's why we call this the N by M connection multiplier, right? And even though right now it might seem complicated, this whole thing will be simplified where you should be able in minutes to connect your knowledge to various sorts of tools and apps, right? So let me give you a quick demo of where custom GPT fits into the picture. So super simple to use. To create a new rag, I'll show you. It's literally you press a button and you paste in your website. In this case, we are just going to use the Vanguard institutional website, and that's it. Now this whole website is going to sucked in. It's going to be created into a rag. We use Pinecone for vector database, it'll do the chunking, it'll have the accuracy, the hallucinations, and all of that put together in a matter of minutes, right? So you saw how simple it is to create this GPT. For purposes of MCP, like while this is building, this will probably take a couple of seconds or minutes. I'll show you the previous one that I had already built with the same website. The usual interface is to query the tag using the normal chat interface. But for the MCP aspect, it is literally a one line endpoint that is now available. So we have these instructions for Claude and Cursor and whoever are the MCP clients, but my new favorite one is this single endpoint, right? You just take this endpoint and now you can plug it into anywhere that MCP has to be used, right? Just before this call, in a matter of a few minutes, I was able to integrate it into the OpenAI API's new responses API. They added support for MCP about 8 days ago. And with one line change, the RAG that was just built with the Vanguard website is now integrated straight into the OpenAI API, right? This is the one that the whole world basically knows, the one import OpenAI and few lines of code, and boom, the OpenAI API is now connected to the RAG with the website that was built, right? So we are super excited about what this does to the ecosystem and hope that both business users as well as developers can very quickly get rolling with both RAG as well as the MCP ecosystem.